Now it is. Okay. So we're talking about Dever, the plague.
It's the 20th of January, Rabbi Levitt, Pele Yoetz. Okay, go ahead.
Dever, the plague. A sages in Baba Kama said, if there is a plague in the city, gather your feet, meaning do not go outside your home or escape from the city in the beginning of the plague. The practice in European cities is to be very vigilant and establish strict safeguards to avoid the spread of a plague is very good. However, it is not good to live in those same cities for a different reason associated with this matter. If, heaven forbid, it happens that a person is attacked by Midat Hadin, the divine attribute of strict justice, and is stricken with the disease, due to the policy of vigilance, they will put him to death in a bizarre way before his time, burn his body, and not allow it to be buried. Heaven should save us. In this regard, it is better to reside in Muslim countries where they attempt to heal a person and honor him in his death by people who are designated for this purpose. In any case, there is an obligation on every man to aggressively safeguard his health in every way available to him. Behold, it is written in Mishlei, the wise man saw evil and hid. The fools trespassed and they were punished. The Holy Zohar explains that the person is worthy of punishment and forfeiting his life for just not hiding himself from danger. The primary protection from the plague is the giving of charity to the poor. Money will have no value, and the rich will give a fortune to sustain the poor. This will be the ransom of their souls, so that no misfortune will befall them, and no plague will enter their dwellings. A person should pray daily in advance of any trouble and perform all of the mystical rituals that are written in the holy books, specific orders of study, and especially the recitation of Pitum HaKetoret regarding the preparation of incense with devotion, until God will look beneficently upon him and grant him peace and tranquility in the land of the living.
Okay.
So what's very interesting about this reading is not only does this apply, I think, to plagues, but it applies to anything that could be detrimental to our health, I think.
Yes.
So we should
Yes,
always.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Needs to be juiced up. Okay, so let's see. What was I going to say over here? Yes, this is what I was going to say. Our perspective is that, like he's saying over here, that we have when we're subject to physical danger, the Torah has a pasuk actually that they are quoting today. Tishmor es nafshosechem ad ma'od. It's in the Chumash. He doesn't quote this pasuk. Oh, okay.
Right.
Yoetz here has a entry on Dever, what to do in the time of Dever. Okay.
I'm not sure. It might.
Yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work. Bezrat Hashem.
I'm not sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's not
Yes,
coming from
Oh,
here.
I see. It's not coming from.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
It's juice enough. Okay.
So, so in other words, the way that we look at it is we look at it that the Torah itself requires us to protect ourselves from danger. And when we fulfill that when we fulfill that pasuk, so it's the schus of the mitzvah that protects us from the physical danger. That's the way to protect oneself from the pasuk, from the physical danger, is that the mitzvah protects us. And by the same token, someone who doesn't properly observe the pasuk, so then it's not the physical danger that harms him, but the fact that he's done an avera, and there's an avera. It means that there's going to be consequences for the avera, and so like that, the world runs according to schar and onish. That's what determines what happens in the world. And so he mentions other things as well that also may help. He says to give me in tzedakah, because we know that there's a pasuk. He doesn't quote it here, but there's a pasuk. Tzedakah tatzil mimavis. That tzedakah saves a person from death. And he mentions also here the study and the saying of Pitum HaKtoris is also something that is something that helps, because we see in the Chumash that was what stopped the Magefa in the Chumash, that Aaron Cohen went and with the Ketores, and he stopped the Magefa with the help of Pinchas. Or yeah. Okay. So this is our perspective, and that helps actually even for non-Jews as well. In the same way, the world also is not just a physical world for them either. But the point is, even if they don't realize it, they're doing it as a mitzvah, but they're doing it because their seichel tells them to do it, and that is actually the nature of this mitzvah. That we get credit for doing a mitzvah. They get the protection of the mitzvah because they're using their seichel. They don't get the credit for the mitzvah, but they are employing their seichel. That's what Hashem wants, and therefore that's how it is that they can be protected from a plague as well. Okay. Oh, that's it. All right, so that's what the Gemara in Bava Kama says. Stay inside. That's the Gemara in Bava Kama 60b. Did we see that Gemara? I think we must have seen that Gemara, but okay. The Seder. Should we continue, or you want to see the Gemara, or up to you? Anybody
I'll see the
interested?
Gemara.
Okay. This is Baba Kama 60b.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, here it is, open right up to it.
Okay. 60b. This is
Oh, there are a lot of these
page.
things.
Third line from the top. Ton Rabbonen. Dever Ba'ir.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of these. Okay.
Dever Ba'ir. Kanes Raglecha. Kanes Raglecha. Command. Gather in your feet. Remember, like it says in the pasuk, "V'atem lo teitzu ish mi pesach beso ad boker." Familiar pasuk. We saw it. We had it a couple of weeks ago in Parshas Bo by Makas Bechoros.
Oh, yeah.
Right, the Jewish people were inside their houses. They were commanded not to go outside the entire night. Atem lo tetzu ish mi pesach beso ad boker. Don't go out of your house until the boker, till the morning. And then the Gemara quotes another pasuk in Yeshaya. Leif ami bo b'chaderecha. Go, my people, come b'chaderecha into your chambers, uskor delascha, and close your door, ba'adecha. Close your door, ba'adecha. And another pasuk, and this pasuk is from Devorim. says Michutz Tishakel Cherev. Outside, the sword is destroying. Mechadorim Ema. And in the rooms there is fear. Rashi says, Emas Mavis, Shel Malach. There's the fear of death of the Malach. V'lo begoli kol kach. But it's not so apparent. Not so much revealed. They're in the open. Oh, the Maharsha says on this Gemara, Kosev Maharsha she'ena kavona shelo yefazer raglo v'yelech le'ir acheres v'lohotzi mima shenemar mahalan barav sharei pashut shegam be'es dever yesh libroya. Basically, the Maharsha is saying this: what the Gemara recommends over here in the time of Dever to gather in your feet and not go outside. And it quoted the pasuk from Makas Pohoros. Doesn't mean its intention doesn't mean to exclude the alternative that a person may have to leave the city. Some relatives of mine in the last 2 years, what did they do? They went to New Zealand, and they lived in New Zealand for a year and a half or whatever it was.
Wow.
So that was very pashut. Shagam be'es dever yesh libroach. It's self-evident that this is certainly a viable and a recommended avenue, if it's possible, to escape, to go to a place where there isn't any dever, rather than to be locked up in one's house. That really is lechatchila. Ela kavona she'im eino holech le'ir acheres lefachod yikanes raglav lebeisa v'lo yetze b'rechovot. So he claims that it's a bidi evid situation, that if for whatever reason one cannot escape and be able to go to a different place, that bidi evid, so his next best alternative is simply to not if he has to remain in the city, he can't get out, then to remain inside, not go out. Okay. All right. Okay, so there's a whole Gemara about this. It continues, but that's what he's quoting over here, the Pele Yoetz. What should be our immediate response, at least? our immediate response should be to try to figure out some way to avoid to avoid the sakana, to escape the sakana. Okay. All right. Okay, we go to a round of applause for the page 193, as they say in Yana Dioma. We're learning. Baruch Hashem. Okay, page 194. Dekia, rejecting others. We'd like to call upon Alan to continue for us.
It has already been stated that rejecting others is not good. It's written in Mishlei, do not say to your friend, go and come back. Tomorrow I will give. It's also written in Mishlei, a languishing hope causes illness of the heart. It's written in Tehillim 15:2. And he speaks true in his heart. This teaches us that a person must say with his mouth that which is in his heart. Nevertheless, just as it is permissible to deviate from the truth for the sake of peace, likewise it's permissible to push people away for the sake of peace, especially in the home. The thinking process of women is simple, and if one tells her that he will not fulfill her desire, even if he shares his pain, that he does not have the means to satisfy her entire wish, there are bad wives, heaven save us, and who will not accept his plea and create controversy and dissent. In such situations, it is good for a man to push off a request with wise and true excuses from day to day and from month to month. You should speak kind of words unless heaven has compassion on him. However, where there is no issue of animosity or argument, the truth should guide his path, and he must reveal immediately the beginning of his thought and the end of his action.
So do you agree that the thinking process of women is simple?
I think our thinking process is simple.
That I agree with.
Yeah. Women are very complex.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no one wants to be no one wants that his request is refused. As they say, that's the successful person. He doesn't take no for an answer, right? That's not called being a simple person. That's called being
A bad husband.
What?
There are bad husbands, heaven save us, who don't take no for an answer.
Okay.
I think this is bad advice. Push off her request with wise and shrewd excuses from day to day. I think that's not a good way to live.
That's procrastination. Being afraid, I guess, to say something. But then you should speak kind words until heaven has compassion on him. And the last part of this is that he should explain himself. This should be immediately the beginning of his thought and the end of his action.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure why he can't explain himself in a way that
Right.
she will accept his decision.
You sit down and talk it out, explain the situation, explain the problem, why you can't do what she wants. Come up with a plan as a couple.
Yeah. 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 Oh, Baruch Hashem, we all have good wives, so you don't have to
Baruch
contend with
Hashem,
this.
indeed.
Yeah. To be fair to the Peleos, he says he's talking about situations where people have bad wives, so they won't accept the husband's refusal, and he says they'll create controversy and dissent. So in such a situation, the husband is it's not advised to do something which is going to create controversy and dissent. So therefore, he has to figure out some way to get around the situation so that we don't create that.
On the other hand,
All
it
right.
may be that the fact that he thinks of her as being simple is what pushes her to act in this way.
Yeah. 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 I restate my same comment that I said before. I think today the case is that men's thinking is also simple. So it's hard to identify with what he's described, the situation that he's describing. Describing a situation where seems to be a significant inequality between the two people. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he says in the end, when there is no issue of animosity or argument, so then well, 100%, the truth must guide his path. That's the only he has to speak the truth. He's talking about a situation where with the other person, there's a significant concern of that it's going to just come to animosity and argument if he is straightforward with her. In the absence of that, that's not going to be the case. It's not going to create animosity or argument. So then absolutely, the truth should guide his path. And he must be totally transparent and reveal immediately the beginning of his thought and the end of his action. Be totally upfront, totally honest, not reveal, not hold anything back. And just speak the truth. So that is definitely the Eitzah that he's saying in the absence of a concern of animosity or argument. Okay. Next paragraph, we go to Lou. This applies.
This applies to those things of which a man can see the end of the matter to the extent that it is in his hands. For example, if people ask him for something and he does not want to give or do that particular thing. However, things that are in the hands of heaven, for example, marriage matches for a woman to a man is a gift of God. If matchmakers come to offer him or his son a woman, he should not reject them completely and say, I have no interest in her. Several times we have seen with our own eyes that a man despised and did not desire a certain woman at all. Yet since she was his intended, when the right time came, his heart was transformed within him to love her and to marry her. These are some of the incredible things facilitated by the Omniscient One, who brings couples together. As such, a man should not say about a woman that I will not marry her, or about a city that I will not go there. A person does not know what each day will bring or what has been decreed for him in heaven. Therefore, when the matchmaker comes, he should deflect his offer and say, it could be this woman is sent from heaven for me. However, perhaps it is premature. I still do not want to meet.
Yeah.
If the woman wants, she can wait for me, and if not, then let her go out with someone else.
11:30.
In all similar things, the wise man will listen and increase his knowledge.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Interesting. So there's a concept over here that he's saying that we have to live with, that there's such a thing as things that are mina shamayim. And therefore, since a person doesn't know exactly what the shamayim has in store for him, he shouldn't think in his mind, oh, that can't be, or that will never, that one is not for me, or that place is not, that's not, that doesn't seem to make any sense at all to me. On the other hand, I don't think it's I don't think it's it's a heresy. I don't think that it is to say, well, first of all, let's look at it and see if it makes sense. Is just because a matchmaker would come and say, I have a match, what's the response? Well, let's see what it is. Here he's talking about a person who seems to have some knowledge about this other person that's been suggested, and say, oh no, that's not a good suggestion. I know that's not I mean, why else would he say, I have no interest in her? Not sure exactly why he would say that, unless he knew something about her. But okay, in any case.
Did matchmakers come invited in those days?
What do you mean? They come uninvited today too? What do you mean in those days?
My understanding is that if you don't let it be known that you're looking, they won't come. Is that not right?
Oh, well, it's more than once. Someone has a matchmaker has come, and the family says, "Oh, well, we didn't even think about this yet. Whether our child is ready to start this parsha or not." That's of course happened.
In other words, the matchmaker knows that knows the neighborhood and knows that there's an age appropriate person in a certain family, and they'll just come uninvited and say, I think we have a match.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes it may be a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law or a cousin, someone in the family. So that makes it easier for them to come unannounced. But unannounced, they do for sure, especially if they think it's a good idea.
Right. So that could be I could see how that could be a little bit awkward. I didn't say I was interested. My son's too young or whatever.
Yeah. So certainly a person has a right. Oh, excuse me. Maybe that's what he's saying. Yeah, this is yeah, right. I mean, definitely. Okay. That's the situation. Right. But yeah. Okay. So shall we go on to the next paragraph? And a round of applause before we do so.
Finish another page.
We're almost up to page 200. How do you like that? It's
Ooh.
unbelievable. I don't know, when did we start this safer? I have marked down here. Parshas Kisavo. Last few parshas of Parshas Devorim. Last year, that's when we started. Okay, so we go for the second round. We go to Meir to lead off the second round. please.
Already, wow. Okay, if rejection is a bad thing in regards to the mundane matters of the world, how much more so in regards to words of Torah and societal improvements? There is a type of person who has an intense love of triumph, such that even when he sees the truth, he still tries to maintain his opinion in vain and deceptive rationalizations. His evil is very great, for from it emerge destruction, fire, flames, hatred, animosity, violation of forbidden things, much mockery, and weariness of flesh. Consequently, a person should be God-fearing, acknowledge truth and integrity at the beginning of all his conversations, and by doing so, he will blossom like a palm tree. Ooh.
Very good. This is what we say in the morning. Just looking for it right now. La'olam yehei adam yorei shamayim. Person should always be a yorei shamayim. B'seiser u'bagoli, not only in public and also in private. Umoda al ha'emes, and he should admit the truth. He has a comment over here from the Siach Yitzchak, the one that put out the Siddur Hagra. Acknowledging the truth is fundamental to serving Hashem and in all human behavior. One who is concerned merely with winning the argument will go to any extreme to come out on top. This attitude caused the downfall of the 250 leaders who joined Korach. Rather than acknowledge the truth of Moshe's declaration. So don't be, like it says in the Pirkei Avos, it says, don't be like Korach and his congregation. Okay. Very good. So now we start a new section with Alan, please. Dinim, laws. Page 195.
This is a rule for a man whom Hashem has graced with intelligence. His Torah study should be lishma, for its own sake, that is, for the purpose of keeping, doing, and fulfilling the Torah. Therefore, a man should not let a day pass without studying definitive halakha rulings in order to know what he needs to do. People who do not know the laws walk in darkness and soil themselves with destiny. For them, the crooked path is considered straight, continuously becoming worse, and the inadvertent error in study for the student who could have learned is considered negligence. As such, the study of Shulchan Aruch, code of Jewish law, Chaim, with all of the most recent halakhic decisions, besides is a daily obligation. This includes.
Wow. Okay.
So it says, okay, so I will just repeat that. As is the study of Shulchan Aruch, the code of Jewish law, Chaim, with all its most recent law besides, is a daily obligation. This includes the laws of prayer and tefillin, and all the other laws that are necessary for every man for the rest of the code of law. A person must study them regularly, especially the laws of Nida, mentioning women, which are very relevant to every married man. Unfortunately, due to lack of knowledge on the subject, mistakes are rampant. This causes an impure soul to be imparted unto the baby. Heaven save us. The man who desires life should learn Chaim, the way of life, and the man who wants no evil to befall him should learn Yoetz. If a person is incapable of studying from the Hebrew text, he should learn from the books written in other languages. He should not rely on them to actually be lenient, because sometimes the consensus of later authorities is to be stringent. Nevertheless, they can be a source of restriction. The one who is stringent receives a blessing. A person may also be lenient according to the decision of a sage who is expert in the inner sanctum of Torah. The person who goes to sages will become wiser. See Mishlei 13:20.
Okay, very good. So we have a special section over here on dinim. So that's what we have in Samanafshi, right? We have Rabbi First. He gives a shir in halacha. So that's person maintains a seder in halacha, daily seder in halacha. So to make it, especially we have this year we have the halachas of Shemitah that we don't have every except for once every 7 years here in Eretz Yisrael, and so we all try to learn the halachas of Shemitah so we can properly preserve the laws of Shemitah, the mitzvahs of Eretz Yisrael. We live in Eretz Yisrael. We have to know about the mitzvahs of Eretz Yisrael, as well as the other mitzvahs that there are in Eretz Yisrael, the Trumas and Maasros as well. So, and in all these matters, it's not enough simply to study the subject from the text, but one should always clarify if he has any doubt about anything. He should clarify it with someone who is expert in the inner sanctum of Torah, a accepted halachic authority, and then he can be sure that he is doing the right thing. He's doing the Ratzon Hashem, rather. The Ratzon Hashem is the right thing. So we might have thought the right thing is something absolutely opposite of that. That's why we have to clarify these matters.
We have
Okay. What's that?
we have 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Okay. Should we start this next paragraph in 2 minutes? Don't have to race through it, but we could start it.
This
Alan,
is
you
the
want to start?
evil of a man on earth. He treats
Oh,
a
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, continue, please.
He treats a prohibition like something obviously permitted and does not even enter into the house of questions in order to ask. Even those matters in which he is not certain, he does not know what to ask. Rather, he does what is right in his eyes, and the power of permission is greater for him. Woe unto us from the day of judgment, when a man will have to justify why he did not seek knowledge of the law. Learning is not primary, action is. Therefore, everything new that he learns or hears from others should be committed to memory or written down. It should be as a remembrance between his eyes to remind him of what he needs to do and not be remiss. This is the primary objective of learning and listening. In any issue of doubt, a person must be stringent, for one should be more fearful of violating a prohibition than of the sword. Even when a questionable matter has been decided in favor of leniency, a very pious person should be stringent for himself. We will write more about this in its place. Our approach is to review. By doing so, he will be saved from Kotev, a demon, and the blessing of good will be bestowed upon him.
Okay.
So in other words,
Okay.
he's saying if you don't adopt a chumrah, you'll be attacked by a demon.
Well, what he's talking about is if you have a doubt. So I said, well, if you have a doubt, go ask a question to somebody that knows what the halacha is. You don't have to. You don't. Maybe he's talking about if you need to do so, if you need to know what to do right now. Well, today we got the telephones and we have Ask Insta Rabbi. We have the hotline. We have all sorts of. We have such a plethora of avenues to seek halachic guidance. We really don't have to be in doubt if we want to know. So seems to me that the main thing is to make sure that that we have we whatever it is that we do, we know that we're doing it not simply because, oh, it's probably mutter, oh, it's probably somebody says this is mutter, oh, but we've clarified the matter, and we've asked a shaila to someone who's well versed in the matter, and we've gotten a response. What we should do if that's what we have, then we don't have to worry that there may be other people who have their stringencies. That's that's for them, and we've clarified the matter, and we don't have to be concerned at all that we don't do like them. The main thing is to clarify that what it is that we're doing is acceptable. Is acceptable according to the halachic guidance that we have received. Halavai, that we should be zocha to do that. Sometimes I make a list of all different things, and then I forget the list, and then I don't ask, and then I say, oh, here's the Rav. Oh, what was it that I wanted to ask him? And then you forget. So this is all part of the whole thing. But the person that truly wants to know, he will he'll make sure that that all of his things, all of his doubts, he gets resolved, and then he can act with the same acumen and confidence that the Rav acts with. He knows everything that he does. He knows why it is that he's doing it. He knows what the halacha is, and we could also do the same thing. We also he's not stringent in every matter. He does what he does because he holds that this is the proper halachic approach, and so that's really the idea. We don't need to be stringent. We need to follow we need to follow halachic guidance of a responsible halachic authority.
Okay.
And as far as worrying about a demon, I don't know about that either. I think that you can have emunah and bitachon that Hashem will protect you. Hashem is a lot stronger than the demon. Just make sure you do the halacha, then you don't have anything to worry about. Okay, we went
Okay.
over. Sorry, my apologies. Bye, Mayor.
Okay.
great
Have a good
day.
day, everyone. Be well.
See you, Mayor. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're taking a break now, and we'll be back soon. Okay.